On Simón Bolívar, the liberator of South America. Simón Bolívar was a prominent South American military and political leader who played a crucial role in the struggle for independence from Spanish colonial rule in the early 19th century. He is often referred to as El Libertador, which means the liberator in Spanish. Bolívar was born in Caracas, which is now part of Venezuela, and he became a central figure in the fight for the liberation of several South American countries. Bolívar's leadership was instrumental in the liberation of a number of present-day countries including Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia. He led armies and insurgent forces against Spanish colonial forces, and through a series of military campaigns and battles, he helped to secure the independence of these nations. Bolívar's vision extended beyond just military victories. He aimed to create a united South America with a republican form of government, modeled on the principles of freedom and equality. One of Bolívar's most significant contributions was his role in drafting various constitutions and advocating for political and social reforms that would lay the foundation for the newly independent nations. Despite his efforts to establish stable governments, he faced challenges such as regional divisions, political disagreements, and power struggles, which made it difficult to achieve his dream of a united South America. While he is celebrated for his role in achieving independence and fighting against colonial oppression, his attempts to create strong centralized governments and his struggles with maintaining political stability have also drawn criticism. His ideas and influence, however, continued to shape the political landscape of South America, and he remains a revered figure in the region's history. Simón Bolívar was born on July 24, 1783, in Caracas, which was then part of the Captaincy General of Venezuela, a Spanish colonial territory. He was born into a wealthy Creole family of Spanish descent. His father died when he was just 3 years old, and his mother passed away when he was 9. These early losses had a significant impact on Bolívar's life and shaped his character and aspirations. After his parents' deaths, Bolívar was sent to Spain to receive his education. He lived in Europe for several years, where he was exposed to Enlightenment ideas and the political changes that were sweeping across the continent. These experiences influenced his thinking and would later play a role in his vision for a free and independent South America. Bolívar returned to Venezuela in 1807, shortly before the Napoleonic invasion of Spain. This event led to political upheaval in the Spanish colonies, as they were left without a clear central authority. Bolívar initially aligned with the Spanish royalists, but he soon joined the ranks of those advocating for independence as he became disillusioned with the Spanish monarchy's response to the crisis. In 1810, at the age of 27, Bolívar participated in the first unsuccessful attempt to achieve Venezuelan independence. This early failure only fueled his determination to continue the struggle, and he went into exile in 1812 after the Spanish regained control of Venezuela. During his time in exile, he developed a close relationship with another prominent revolutionary leader, Francisco de Miranda, who had a significant impact on Bolívar's political and strategic thinking. Bolívar's early experiences exposed him to the complexities of political power, the influence of foreign ideas, and the injustices of colonial rule. These factors contributed to shaping his dedication to the cause of liberation and his eventual emergence as a leader in the fight for independence in South America. Simón Bolívar's political education was influenced by a combination of personal experiences, exposure to Enlightenment ideas, interactions with European political figures, and his observations of the political turmoil in Europe and the Americas. Bolívar spent a significant portion of his early life in Europe, where he was exposed to Enlightenment ideals of liberty, equality, and the rights of individuals. These ideas, propagated by philosophers like Voltaire, Rousseau, and Montesquieu, had a profound impact on his thinking and his vision for a liberated South America. Bolívar's time in Spain coincided with a period of political instability and upheaval due to the Napoleonic invasion and the subsequent crisis in the Spanish monarchy. These experiences exposed him to the weaknesses of Spanish colonial rule and the potential for asserting self-governance. Bolívar's interactions with Francisco de Miranda, a Venezuelan revolutionary and military leader, played a crucial role in his political education. Miranda was well versed in Enlightenment ideas and had participated in various revolutionary movements in Europe and the Americas. He shared his knowledge and experiences with Bolívar, shaping his understanding of strategy, governance, and the complexities of revolutionary leadership. Bolívar witnessed the unfolding of the French Revolution and other European revolutionary movements. He saw firsthand how political upheaval and the struggle for independence could lead to the transformation of societies and governments. Bolívar was known to be an avid reader and student of history. He studied the histories of ancient republics and empires, drawing lessons from their successes and failures. This historical perspective influenced his ideas about governance, the role of leaders, and the potential pitfalls of consolidating power. Bolívar's active involvement in revolutionary activities and military campaigns provided him with practical lessons in leadership, diplomacy, and strategy. He learned how to navigate political alliances, manage diverse factions, and adapt his tactics based on the evolving circumstances of the revolution. Bolívar had a deep personal conviction in the principles of liberty and equality. His early experiences of losing his parents and witnessing the suffering of his countrymen under colonial rule instilled in him a sense of duty to free his homeland from oppression. All of these elements contributed to Bolívar's political education, shaping his ideology and guiding his approach as a revolutionary leader. His education combined intellectual enlightenment with practical experiences, allowing him to develop a holistic understanding of the challenges and opportunities of leading a movement for independence and self-determination. Several factors inspired Simón Bolívar to fight for the liberation of South America from Spanish colonial rule. These factors were a combination of personal experiences, exposure to Enlightenment ideas, political circumstances, and a deep sense of patriotism. Bolívar was exposed to Enlightenment ideals during his time in Europe. Concepts such as liberty, equality, and self-determination resonated with him and influenced his belief in the right of South American nations to be free from colonial oppression. He saw the hypocrisy of Spanish colonial rule, which denied the colonies the same rights and freedoms that were being advocated in Europe. The early deaths of Bolívar's parents and his exposure to the hardships faced by his fellow countrymen under Spanish colonial rule fostered a sense of empathy and a desire to alleviate their suffering. His personal experiences of loss and witnessing the injustices of colonialism fueled his determination to bring about change. Bolívar's involvement in the unsuccessful attempt to achieve Venezuelan independence in 1810 ignited his commitment to the cause. The failure of this early revolution served as a catalyst for his determination to continue the struggle and succeed in liberating his homeland. Bolívar's mentor and ally, Francisco de Miranda, played a significant role in inspiring him. Miranda's revolutionary spirit, extensive travels, and exposure to various political movements in Europe and the Americas shaped Bolívar's political beliefs and strategic thinking. Miranda's ideas and experiences contributed to Bolívar's conviction that South America could and should be free. Bolívar witnessed the impact of the French Revolution and other European uprisings. These events demonstrated the transformative power of popular movements and inspired Bolívar to believe in the possibility of liberation and self-governance for South America. Bolívar had a strong sense of patriotism and a deep love for his homeland. He saw himself as a champion of the rights and sovereignty of South American nations. This deep attachment to his people and his country fueled his determination to free them from foreign domination. Bolívar envisioned a united South America that transcended regional divisions and rivalries. He believed that a liberated continent could be a powerful force on the global stage. His vision of a united Gran Colombia reflected his aspiration for a shared identity and a collective pursuit of liberty. Bolívar was ambitious and saw himself as a leader destined to shape the course of history. His drive for leadership, combined with his ideals, positioned him as a central figure in the struggle for independence. All these factors converged to inspire Bolívar's lifelong commitment to the liberation of South America. His leadership and contributions were driven by a complex interplay of personal convictions, historical context, and the belief that the people of South America deserved to determine their own destinies. Simón Bolívar played a central and multifaceted role in the struggle for the liberation of South America from Spanish colonial rule. His leadership, military prowess, political vision, and diplomatic efforts were instrumental in achieving independence for several South American nations. Bolívar was a skilled military strategist and commander. He led various military campaigns and battles against Spanish royalist forces throughout South America. His victories, such as the Battle of Boyacá in Colombia and the Battle of Ayacucho in Peru, were crucial in securing the independence of multiple nations. Bolívar had a grand vision of a united South America that would be free from colonial oppression. He aimed to establish republics with representative governments, inspired by Enlightenment ideals. His political vision extended beyond military victories to the establishment of stable and independent nations. Bolívar was instrumental in the creation of Gran Colombia, a federation that included present-day Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, and Panama. He sought to foster unity among these nations, albeit with some challenges due to regional differences and disagreements. Bolívar was involved in drafting several constitutions for the newly liberated nations. He aimed to establish republican governments with a balance of power and protection of individual rights. However, his attempts to create strong centralized governments also sparked debates and conflicts. Bolívar engaged in diplomatic efforts to gain international recognition for the newly liberated nations. He negotiated with foreign powers, including Britain, the United States, and European monarchies, to secure support and legitimacy for the independence movement. Bolívar experienced periods of exile due to internal conflicts and political challenges. Despite setbacks, he returned to lead and inspire his followers, demonstrating his resilience and commitment to the cause. Bolívar recognized the importance of education in building strong and independent nations. He initiated educational reforms and supported the establishment of educational institutions to promote literacy, civic engagement, and a sense of national identity. Bolívar's charismatic leadership and determination made him a symbol of resistance against colonial rule. His speeches and writings inspired his troops and rallied people to the cause of liberation. Bolívar believed in social equality and sought to address the injustices of the colonial era. He advocated for the abolition of slavery and promoted measures to reduce social disparities. Bolívar's influence extended beyond his lifetime. While he faced challenges in maintaining stable governments and achieving all his goals, his legacy continued to inspire future generations of leaders in South America and beyond. Overall, Simón Bolívar's multifaceted role encompassed military leadership, political vision, diplomatic efforts, and a commitment to ideals of liberty and self-determination. His contributions were crucial in shaping the course of history and paving the way for the independence of several South American nations. Bolívar's efforts in his homeland were pivotal. He led campaigns and battles that ultimately led to the liberation of Venezuela from Spanish control. The Battle of Carabobo in 1821 marked a significant victory in this endeavor. Bolívar's leadership and military successes were instrumental in the liberation of Colombia. The Battle of Boyacá in 1819 was a decisive victory that secured Colombian independence. Bolívar and his ally Antonio José de Sucre liberated Ecuador from Spanish rule. The Battle of Pichincha in 1822 led to the independence of this territory. Bolívar's campaigns, along with the contributions of his forces and other revolutionary leaders, led to the liberation of Peru. The Battle of Ayacucho in 1824 was a critical victory that marked the end of Spanish royalist control in Peru. Bolívar's efforts also contributed to the creation of Bolivia. The country was named in his honor, and he played a role in its liberation, although his military leadership wasn't as direct as in some other nations. It's important to note that while Bolívar's leadership and influence were significant in these countries' struggles for independence, the liberation process in each nation involved the contributions of various leaders, factions, and circumstances. Bolívar's vision of a united South America and his military campaigns were among the driving forces that helped bring about the independence of these nations. Bolívar served as the president of Gran Colombia, which was established in 1819. He played a crucial role in drafting the country's constitution and shaping its political structure. Bolívar was committed to the idea of a united South America and sought to promote unity among the member nations of Gran Colombia. He aimed to establish a strong central government that could prevent internal divisions and external threats. Bolívar advocated for economic and social reforms aimed at reducing inequality and promoting the welfare of the common people. However, these reforms often faced resistance from entrenched interests and economic difficulties. Bolívar faced numerous challenges in maintaining stability within Gran Colombia. Regional differences, political rivalries, and disputes over power sharing led to internal conflicts and hindered his vision of a united republic. Bolívar's attempts to centralize power and establish a strong presidency were met with resistance, as some factions feared the concentration of authority. These tensions contributed to the eventual dissolution of Gran Colombia. After the liberation of Peru, Bolívar briefly assumed the presidency of the country. During his tenure, he faced challenges related to governance, economic stability, and the establishment of a constitution. Bolívar faced challenges in governing Peru due to its diverse population and regional dynamics. He aimed to establish a strong executive authority to ensure stability, but this approach encountered resistance. Bolívar aimed to address social inequality and implement economic reforms in Peru. He advocated for land redistribution and other measures to benefit the lower classes. Bolívar sought to establish a new constitution for Peru, which would reflect his vision of governance and republican principles. However, his attempts were met with resistance and challenges. Simón Bolívar's final years were marked by a combination of personal challenges, political disappointments, and declining health. Bolívar's vision of a united South America and his efforts to maintain a centralized government faced increasing opposition and challenges. The Federation of Gran Colombia dissolved in 1830, leading to Bolívar's resignation from the presidency. This event marked a turning point in his political career. Following his resignation, Bolívar went into self-imposed exile. He traveled to various countries, including Colombia and the coastal areas of Venezuela. During this period, he sought refuge and contemplated his legacy. Bolívar's health deteriorated during his later years. He suffered from tuberculosis and other health complications. His declining health contributed to his decision to step away from active political life. Bolívar's aspirations for a united and stable South America were not fully realized. The dissolution of Gran Colombia and the challenges he faced in governance and nation-building left him disillusioned. During his exile, Bolívar reflected on his achievements and the state of the nations he had helped liberate. He penned letters and writings that expressed his thoughts on governance, leadership, and the challenges facing South America. Simón Bolívar passed away on December 17, 1830, in Santa Marta, Colombia. He was just 47 years old at the time of his death. The official cause of death was tuberculosis, but his declining health may have been exacerbated by the stress, challenges, and disappointments he experienced in his later years. His legacy as El Libertador continued to shape the political discourse and cultural identity of the region long after his death. Simón Bolívar's legacy is profound and enduring, with his impact felt across South America and beyond. His contributions to the struggle for independence, his ideals of liberty and unity, and his vision for a united continent have left a lasting imprint on the region's history, politics, and culture. Bolívar is celebrated as the primary architect of South America's liberation from Spanish colonial rule. His leadership and military successes have made him a symbol of courage, determination, and resistance against oppression. In many South American countries, Bolívar is considered a national hero and a central figure in their histories. Statues, monuments, and other memorials in his honor can be found across the continent. Several cities, streets, institutions, and even countries are named after Bolívar. Notably, Bolivia was named in his honor, reflecting his influence on the country's struggle for independence. Bolívar's vision of a united South America resonates with the concept of Pan-Americanism, promoting cooperation and unity among the nations of the Americas. His ideals have inspired discussions about regional integration and collaboration. Bolívar's writings and speeches on governance, liberty, and justice continue to be studied and referenced by scholars, politicians, and leaders. His thoughts on leadership, republicanism, and the role of the state remain relevant. Bolívar's legacy has left an indelible mark on South American culture, literature, art, and music. His life story has been depicted in various forms of artistic expression. Bolívar's legacy also fuels debates and discussions about the complexities of leadership, nation building, and the challenges of post-colonial societies. His attempts to balance centralization and representation, as well as his mixed success in achieving political stability, continue to be subjects of analysis. Bolívar's legacy is not without complexities. While celebrated for his achievements, he also faced criticisms for attempts to centralize power and challenges in establishing stable governments. Debates around his role in shaping political institutions continue to unfold. Overall, Simón Bolívar's legacy remains influential and multifaceted, shaping the political, cultural, and historical narratives of South America and beyond. His ideals of freedom, self-determination, and unity continue to resonate with people seeking to overcome challenges and create a better future.